the final dress rehearsal before the World Cup finals for Brazil and Egypt here in Cleveland, Ohio. Well, this is the Brazilian starting 11. Marquinhos and Ibanez are back together in the centre of defence. Vini Jr. will be roaming down the left-hand side. A big night for Igor Thiago, who has played 3 times for his country and scored in the last 2. Rafinha is fully fit again. Well, this is their starting 11. We're a little unsure how they will be lining up. There's a suggestion that it will be a back 3. Mo Salah is on the bench. Marmoush of Manchester City will be leading the line. And Brazil in their borrowed blue. Kick-off as we're on the road to the World Cup finals of 2026. Brazil were struggling a little bit. They'd lost 3 of 6 matches against France and Japan and Bolivia, but they have been successful in the last 2. A 6-2 victory over Panama last week. 6 different scorers. And before that, they beat Croatia by 3-1.
I think they've become a real good team under Carlo Ancelotti, and he's a top manager, and there was obviously rumours about him being linked to other teams, and then he signed another contract that keeps him with Brazil until 2030. And then equally, looking at this Egyptian team, where a lot of the focus is always on Mo Salah, which I completely understand. I love Mo Salah, but I'm looking forward to him hopefully being able to come off the bench within this matchup tonight.
There is Casemiro hitting the ball long, looking for Thiago, who has been a bit of a sensation in the English Premier League this season with Brentford. Vini Jr. getting on the front foot, getting the Brazilian supporters onto their feet as well.
I know every time there's a tournament, Rob, there's always questionable players that get selected, but I think someone like Igor Thiago, he's had an unbelievable season in the English Premier League this year, 22 goals for Brentford, and I feel like he deserves his opportunity. There was a lot of talk about João Pedro not being selected. He's had a brilliant year in a really underperforming Chelsea side.
Here go Brazil, immediately trying to get Thiago into that. Any suggestions that this is a friendly have gone out of the window. 2 sets of completely committed players.
Yeah, this is great press in the midfield as well. Lovely little ball from Paquetá. You see exactly what he was trying to do, and I think Egypt recovered quite well there to just usher it out, but we know how good Brazil are at getting that ball into the 18-yard box. Their final third entries are one of the best in the world, and they will create time and time again, and they're also pressing really high. They're not just good on the attack, Brazil. They defend very, very well from the front, and I think if Egypt play this way in this game, and I know it's only 3 minutes in, it's going to be a really long night for them because they can't get out of their own half.
Going through the ringer, Ancelotti looks like he's going to a wedding, doesn't he? Complete with his traditional 3-piece suit, the waistcoat on there as well. Here is Vini Jr. trying to lay the ball off to Thiago, and Brazil pleading for a penalty. Paquetá claiming that he was being held back in the area.
Yeah, again, giving away the ball very cheaply in those areas from Egypt. You can see they're trying a little touch. I mean, that's not a penalty. You can do equally both very, very well, but I just think he's better coming from a little bit deeper, and it does make a difference.
Lovely turn from Ziko. They've got a spare man on the far side of the field as well. It's Trezeguet, can hit them in from distance. Looks to go wide to Fatu and flashing across the face of goal. Not far away from Marmoush, and that is what Egypt are so good at.
This is a really good break here. I mean, that ball has to go into the space for me. I think it allows Wesley to recover in those positions, but it's good play from Ziko, especially to play that ball out to the left-hand side. And then it just goes agonisingly wide, but that's one of those ones. They go across the box. It was almost like a cross. Well, before Carlo Ancelotti came in, he stabilised things, but it was their worst World Cup qualifying campaign, Rob. And if they hadn't have extended the teams, they probably would have had to go for a playoff to be able to get to. And it sounds crazy because seeing another tournament without Italy is bad enough, let alone it's unthinkable to think about a tournament without Brazil.
The constants, aren't they, the World Cup finals? They're giving the ball away here, and the gift is duly accepted. Bruno Guimarães slots it home after a defensive misdemeanor by Egypt.
I spoke about this press from Brazil. It's been really good, but this is really poor from Lachine as well. And Shabir, the goalkeeper, plays it into the midfield. Have no idea what Lachine is doing in that position. You cannot. He has a look, he delays the ball, looks over his shoulder, and it doesn't matter what team you're playing against, you cannot allow yourself that much time on the ball. He's turning. Guimarães comes in with the press, does really well. Great composure to be able to put it in the back of the net as well, but that's a gift for any team, let alone Brazil. One thing that really intrigues me about this Brazil team is the midfield three. You're looking at Paquetá, Guimarães and Casemiro, who has had an unbelievable season with Manchester United, 34 years old. A lot of people have spoken about him and, you know, would he be able to keep up to the tempo of the Premier League? And he's been one of Manchester United's best players this season.
Well, Marquinhos sells his goalkeeper short. Has he gifted an equaliser to Egypt? Yes, he has. Well, this is the night when the players are getting the mistakes out of the way. And a massive goal for Ziko. On his second appearance for Egypt and his second goal.
Wow, back-to-back games for Ziko, coming off the back of scoring that goal against Russia last week. And you're right, Rob, it's about these uncharacteristic mistakes from both teams. In this position here, Marquinhos does not usually play that ball back in that position, underhits it completely. We all make mistakes, but both teams have made really poor errors and have given away and gifted the team. Ziko still has a lot to do in this position. Alisson does his best, but I think he puts it in that window, Ziko, for the goalkeeper to not have anything to do in that moment. Great composure from him, and it's 1-1, but really poor from Marquinhos.
Of all the players to gift a goal, it's the man who led Paris Saint-Germain to the Champions League success. Indeed, they made the quarter-finals for one of the last 5 World Cup finals back in 2022. Going out at that stage against Croatia on penalties. Wesley finds it in, but a confidence-building take for Shabir, the goalkeeper. Wesley does have a deep-rooted injury. Here goes Vinny Jr. Defender just stands his ground. He bypasses him with ease. Oh, and the referee maybe went a little early with the whistle and indeed decided it was Vinicius Jr. who'd bundled the full-back over.
I mean, this is not a foul for me. You can see Hani there trying to kind of bring Vinicius Jr. down, and I don't think that's a foul at all. I completely understand why Vinny Jr. is not happy with that.
They've got the fluids on board and the action reconvenes at the Huntsman backfield. Good crowd turned out tonight. It's caught the imagination of the local people. Let's face it, everybody wants to see Brazil at least once in a lifetime with their own eyes. Vinny Jr. is away. Good turn of pace by Vinicius Jr. Draws the goalkeeper and tries to just flip it past Shabir, but the goalkeeper wins out in the 1-1.
Do you know what? Shabir did really well in the end there, because I was thinking, come off your line, because he was delaying it, and it almost made it easier for Vinny Jr. to be able to put it in the back of the net, but it was a really good save in the end.
We're getting plenty of chances, and you can see the pattern developing. Brazil dominating the game, but Egypt sharp, quick on the front foot when they counter-attack.
I'll tell you what, this ball from Rafinha in the space, like hitting it into the ground, he makes it look easy, but it's not an easy technique. And that's what I was talking about there for Shabir. Look at this technique again, look at that, love that. Weighted pass into Vinny's path. And he does well here, but I think he has to take his touch across there as well.
Brazil have to hit the ground running because their first game next week at the MetLife, they have Morocco. Oh, it's a brilliant run by Vinny Jr. Great pass to Rafinha, and Shabir reached the intentions yet again.
Look at this run, look. Oh, I love this from Vinny Jr. That's the one there, like he just completely swipes him. And it wasn't a great ball. He does everything right here, Vinny Jr. for me. It wasn't a great ball down the line to Rafinha. It's almost like he wants a reverse pass back to him.
There is Hassan drifting inside. Oh, Uncertain defending by Danilo. Needs must and gets the approval from Hossam Hassan.
Yeah, Hassan did really well there, grabbing the ball centrally, and that was where they had an opportunity about the beginning of the game, where they got out wide to the left-hand side. Ziko played it out. I do think for Egypt, they need to try and find Mamouche a little bit more. He needs to find the ball. I know Brazil have been occupying the space essentially in the midfield and haven't really allowed Egypt to have much of the ball.
Paquetá to Rafinha. Rafinha gets moving, draws it away from the defender. And it's a save. It doesn't matter how you keep them out, as long as you keep them out. Not too conventional there from Chaubert.
Lovely play. Look at this, give and go from Paquetá and Rafinha. Excellent play, and the balance as well. I mean, he's got the Egyptian players all over the place. So he's got, cuts it right, cuts it left. Love that.
Guimarães floats it in. The goalkeeper gets a good box of the ball. I think Chaubert has established himself tonight. He has been the backup at Al Ali for Shenawi, who's been the #1 for club and country for, well, the last decade or so. Ancelotti in pensive mode on the touchline. Happy to concentrate on the football after the circus in the last few weeks regarding will he, won't he select Neymar. Now, what have they worked out on the training field for a situation like this?
Yeah, I think this is a foul all day long. I mean, I was quite surprised the referee never gave it originally, and the assistant referee did.
Danilo as well, the substitute, also brings extra height. Rafinha. Again. Still a work in progress. You mentioned before that Egypt have done well in recent years, but they just keep losing out against Senegal. They lost in the semi-finals of the AFCON competition in January to their old rivals, Senegal.
And I think as well for Egypt, they have to learn how to win games, Rob.
Here's Igor Thiago. Oh, big save, strong wrist from the goalkeeper. He anticipated where it was going, guessed right, and kept out the giant Brazilian centre forward.
I'll give credit to the goalkeeper. It was a brilliant save. But I do think whenever Brazil seem to be getting in these opportunities, they are hitting in the window. It's a lovely little ball from Guimarães. That is a gift. It's a good first touch, but I do think a player like Igor Thiago, you'd expect him to do a lot better in this position. You can even square it. Igor Thiago in the Premier League, you'd put that in the back of the net and the goalkeeper would have no chance.
Well, you would anticipate in the opening game against Morocco that this would be maybe 10 of the 11. The central striker's position is up for grabs. Vini Jr. lets the ball go there. Maybe Igor Thiago, Rayan could get a chance. Cunha of Manchester United as well, and how the Brazilian public would love Neymar to prove his fitness and to be leading the front line heading into June and July.
And Cunha will press really high, so I think we'll see them play. I mean, that's a foul. I don't know what Casemiro's moaning about.
They found themselves short on this near side of the field. They do need to tighten up the defence there, Brazil. In the first quarter of the game for Egypt. They follow the line of the six. Casemiro leads the charge to clear the ball. Egypt still have plenty of bodies in there. And Brazil do look to be creaking a little bit when they're put under pressure.
Be interesting to see what both teams do at half-time. If they make a lot of substitutions in the previous friendlies, Brazil made 10 at half-time, so it'll be interesting to see.
There goes Rafinha. There's a consideration for the coaches, isn't it? They will want to find a blend and get the players learning each other's body patterns, a bit of muscle memory as well, but also weighing that in with not overexerting the players with the start of the finals next week. Lovely ball. Now another chance for Igor. Passes on to Vini Jr. He can't get enough of a boot on it. Brazil just lacking that little bit of sharpness in front of goal. Here goes Marmouche. That's excellent defending, tracking back, and it needs to be as well by Ibanez.
He just doesn't look, he's not sharp enough to the ball in that position. He's getting on it, and they're creating a lot of chances, Brazil, for him. And it's a gift, really.
There goes Vinny Jr. again and again. And he just stands his ground, and this time the referee shows the yellow card in the opposite direction. Here's Casemiro. Little teaser looking for Rafinha. Rafinha doesn't give up on the chase. Steals it from Hani. Puts Egypt on the back foot, and Brazil finishing the first half. Guimarães to spin it in. The goalkeeper doesn't get it this time, and he's bailed out by Mohamed Lashin. Rafinha on corner kick, taking duties. One area that they can certainly improve upon, Brazil. Guimarães to Rafinha. Brazil still have all the heavyweights in attack. Hangs in the air. Marquinhos comes flying in. Egypt find the escape route. How the supporters would love to see him unleashed in the second half. Mohamed Salah, after 4 years in the Premier League, after a €70 million move from Real Madrid. Arguably a candidate for the player of the season at United last year. Here is Vinny Jr. Brilliant ball. Measured in again, not quite feeding it as Igor Thiago would have liked. Just something bubbling under the surface here with Brazil. Guimarães. Danilo readjusts, hanging the ball in the air. Vinny Jr. picking up the pieces. Has 3 defenders to dance with. Oh, does it exquisitely. The referee has a long, hard think about that. Points for a goal kick, but of course it will be checked by the VAR, Carlos Rivero.
I mean, if this is contact, if Hani makes contact with Vinny Jr., it's a penalty. Look at this skill.
Right, I'm appointing you VAR. What are you going to give? Here's your second replay.
I don't think that's a foul.
Has been entertaining. Guimarães giving Brazil the lead, accepting the gift after 8 minutes. And then almost a carbon copy 3 minutes later when Marquinhos didn't spot Ziko. And if Salah's out there, he takes on the captain's armband. The leader of his country. It is Egypt to kick off the second half. They certainly equipped themselves well so far. Haven't been overawed by Brazil. Reacted very quickly. And Brazil took the lead. And it could be argued playing closer to their limitations than Brazil in the opening 45. Here is Rafinha, who's come out for the second half. Fabinho, former Liverpool man, in the centre of midfield. Won't take as long to get used to the Brazilian players. They're all pretty much household names as well. There is Endrick, back at Real Madrid after a successful second half of the season at Lyon. Will Cunha select, goes short. Brazil coming in via the side door. Rafinha. Fabinho still going strong at the age of 32, playing his football these days for Al Ittihad. Here is Luis Endrick, who's an exciting left winger playing his football in Russia, puts the ball in, and it was just a stretch away from Rafinha.
That was a lovely ball in. Luis Enrique there, Fantastic play, exactly what you want your wide players to do. I mentioned him in the first half when I said it will be an interesting team selection for that opening game.
From a neutral standpoint, it may be good that Ancelotti has made the changes at half-time, because those that didn't make the initial starting 11 will feel they have a point to prove to the wily old Italian. I'm sure he knows at least 8 of his starting 11. A couple of places up for grabs. Here is Rafinha, little drop of the shoulder, takes it back, and Brazil get the second. Fantastically finished by Luis Endrick. Well, that is Brazil at their best. That is what they are capable of doing. Can they harness it for the next month or so?
I spoke about this young player, just 19 years old. It was a lovely play from Rafinha. Look at this touch, give and go, and Endrick puts it in the back of the net. What a finish, but this is all about the press. But look at this little touch here from Rafinha, give and go. Lovely positioning from Endrick as well, and I'm so delighted for this player because he's so young, had a lot of pressure, had a lot of weight on his shoulders, goes to Lyon, goes on, and do you know what? He doesn't even catch that truly, but he's in the right place at the right time, and look at what it means to him. Lovely goal, but it's all about the wing play from Rafinha for me. This player in Endrick, there's been a lot of prospect, a lot of talk about him for the last 3 or 4 seasons, and that loan spell at Lyon has really done him well. I think getting on the score sheet tonight, he could be a real player to watch for in the World Cup. You know, we talk about breakout stars and having tournaments. It could be it for him.
They're looking for a third goal here. They're really putting the pressure on Egypt. And Endrick is in there, all fired up. They've got to make the most of it, haven't they, when it falls their way. They recovered well in the first half. Here is Mohamed Salah, strokes the ball across the face of goal, and Everton, the backup keeper from Grêmio, winning his 11th cap. And here's Daniel. There is Salah, drops his shoulder, and his less favoured right foot blasts one in.
See what he was trying to do. It does take a deflection.
Still never a bad season at Liverpool, and there'll be a lot of suitors for his talents. I'm sure working behind the scenes in the next few weeks. Rafinha gives chase. Only team to play in all the World Cup finals on the 4 continents. They've won it twice in the Americas, Mexico in 70, USA in 94. And they've got a chance here. It's an untidy challenge by Mohamed Abdelmonem.
Yeah, Endrick's been excellent since coming into the game, not just his goal, but look at the strength to hold up the ball, draw a foul. It's poor really, because he's not really going anywhere.
Endrick jostling for space in the area. He's gone a little bit earlier. Maybe that's all part of the routine. Routine gone wrong, and another excellent take from Mostafa Ziko.
You know, when you're looking at a player like Mo Salah, Marmoush, those types of players in this system that they play now will work better for them. More on the front foot, possessing the ball really well.
There's Ziko, and Everton wafted away, the veteran goalkeeper, 38 years of age. Oh, Brazil defend deep. Almost an invitation for Egypt to have a little pop at them. Back onto his feet, another one who's been brought back into the fold by Ancelotti. He'd only had 1 cap in 3 years. Here is Rafinha, full steam ahead. Just a goal kick. Everton, the granddaddy of the team at the age of 38, who won his first cap over a decade ago. Oh, Endrick almost feeding Martinelli. Salah shows a turn of pace. Which option will he take? Disguise pass, good pass to Marmoush. Marmoush runs out of ground. Here's Sandro. Martinelli. Danilo. Luis Endrick, excellent feet taken on all comers, does little Brazilian dance, gives it back to Danilo. Two Danilos out there, of course. This is the midfield version. Danilo Santos Oliveira.
So I think Carlo Ancelotti is very fluid in how he plays, and I think that's why he gets the best out of his players, because they're not so rigid.
Excellent defending by Fabinho, stopping his old pal Salah in his tracks.
Fabinho was so integral when they won the league as well. I mean, it's his positioning in that. Sometimes it's a really unforgiving role that people don't really notice.
Brilliant bit of control and a fair shot as well, protecting Weatherton, the keeper.
Just as I said that about Fabinho, he came flying out of position in an unfamiliar territory, but he's so good at occupying those spaces in front of the back line. But you're right, I'm glad it didn't catch him.
Yeah, rolling substitutes.
Only in five-a-side.
Or maybe for some of us walking football. Here is Mo Salah playing the ball back to Ashur. Enterprising stuff, this from Egypt. Some exercise in defending at the moment for Ancelotti's team. And they handle it well. Their intention is to take it one step further. And of course, third place is likely to ensure that you get to the next stage of the World Cup finals this summer. Fabinho is down, play continues around him. Salah. Fabinho's back on his feet and mopping things up in midfield, showing that there is certainly an option if Casemiro isn't fit. Now Cunha goes nose to turf. Beat Russia. They held Spain in March to a scoreless draw and then hit 4 past Saudi, so they don't exactly have a losing feeling, but they know what it's like to be taking on one of the world's best, though Brazil are currently ranked as 6th in the FIFA rankings. Abdul Karim really could have done a little bit better than that.
Yeah, definitely, but they're getting into really good positions in the last kind of 5-10 minutes or so. Brazil was sitting a little bit deeper, but I think the intensity of the game, considering the conditions and the heat, has been really good. I wouldn't say kind of the ball has been slowed down, or it feels like a friendly. You know, both teams are going at it, trying to win the game, and I think it's been highly competitive.
Well, there's been a good energy to the game. There's been a lot of concern about the heat and getting the fluids on board. But, players really have dug deep. Weatherton can't get there, just stands his ground. Sleeping well tonight after exerting themselves here. Referee saw nothing wrong with that tackle. Clean and concise. Egypt have the spare man on the far side of the field. Can they finish strongly here? Brazil rocking back on their heels, and, well, a little warning shot.
I mean, that was a great effort. It would have been interesting to see if this went in, if they would have checked it on VAR, because Matheus Cunha was so adamant. Ziko does so well here, comes in on his left foot. And this is actually very, very close. I mean, the keeper had it covered all day long, but it weren't that far wide.
How he keeps cool in that suit, I'll never know. Now Luis Enrique goes through the defender, draws two, means there's extra space here. Endrick plays a little 1-2. Endrick and Enrique have been excellent additions in the second half, and we have another head injury break. It's Danilo who has gone down. I guess as long as Salah wants to play for his country, he'll be in the national team, but in case...
Yeah, I don't think Endrick will start in that game, but I think Luis Enrique potentially, you know, he started in the previous game, has been very, very good. I know a lot of the Brazilians really like him because he presses really well and he's also good 1v1 situations, but it's a good problem for Carlo Ancelotti to have.
Well, the referee draws to a close the final rehearsal for Brazil and Egypt. It's Carlo Ancelotti who's the more satisfied of the two coaches. He's dug very deep into his pool of players and he very much likes what he sees. The match winner ultimately is the teenager Endrick.